People talk a lot about, oh, the Instagram generation are so vain, and I always go, well, actually.
BBC Radio 1.
It's a pretty common thought process that the social media generation are more vain and narcissistic than any generation that came before them. A few years ago, it would have been considered pretty weird to walk down the street and taking pictures of yourself and your food, but now it's pretty much the norm. It would have been a case of 1, why does anyone want to see that? And 2, why do you want to post it? Although saying that, I'm now part of the problem. I'm Joe, one of the people that admittedly did find it slightly weird when people first started getting social media. A little bit useless and a little bit fake. But as time's gone on, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, WhatsApp, and many more. And you kind of have to be. There is a feeling that you need to be. I, like most people, enjoy putting up pictures of stuff that I think I look cool in. I look like I'm enjoying myself, or that I can put a sarcastic caption underneath in the desperate attempt to make it look like I'm taking things less seriously. Not sure it's working. But does that make me vain? Does any of this make me vain? To a lot of people, that would be considered incredibly vain. But to others, that's nothing. So, has social media done this to us? Or has social media been the catalyst for a narcissism increase that has been bubbling under the human race for centuries?
BBC Radio 1.
This is Gemma, a historian and blogger who chatted to me about how modern vanity compares with the generations and centuries before it.
Done a lot of sort of medieval and early modern history, and when you've done a lot about the monarchy and all of the paintings and things they had done, and you see they're spending thousands of pounds in real life money, as well as how expensive it would have been back then, to paint pictures of themselves, and then it's not even for their own walls, they're sending it to a friend, and you think, is me taking a picture and sending it to my friend really as bad as spending thousands of pounds on a painting that's taken hours to do to send to someone? People don't necessarily think about, just because it's sort of photographs and social media, they assume it's different to how it's always been, but it's just kind of using a different medium. Texts today kind of have replaced letter writing, but the concept's the same, and I think it's similar with social media, that although social media's new, it's not actually that different to what people have been doing for thousands of years.
BBC Radio 1.
I wanted to get some first-hand experience of someone's relationship with vanity and with social media. I've come to meet Ruben, a student and part-time model, and from him I wanted to find out what his relationship with Instagram is, his relationship with his followers, and what kind of effort he puts into the pictures he chooses.
What I use Instagram for, like, because of my interests and stuff, I just use it like to showcase stuff. Like, so if I bought like a new item of clothing or something, I wanted to show like how it fits and like that I like it, I'll post on that. It's just stuff I'm into and stuff I'm interested in. But like, I've seen it go the completely opposite way. Like my sister on Instagram, in that sort of sense, she doesn't really like care about photos of like stuff that she actually is into. She just like posts photos of herself to like get compliments off her friends, because like that's what they do at her age, because she's only 13. Her age group, and because of the sort of content that they're kind of posting, it's like easier to just to go with what they're doing, because you don't want to be known as the person who's like going against like the general trend of your age group or whatever. So I've seen her like get a lot of like anxiety, and like she's really like not, for what I see, she doesn't look like she's like comfortable in her own skin. So, and she like wears makeup and all, like straightens her hair, and she has like really curly hair, and it's like she does it just because she wants to conform to these beauty standards that these kids have all sort of set for themselves, which is like just contributing to this like generational vanity. I don't think that for the most part we're as vain as like maybe people who are like 5 years younger than us, because they're just discovering it as their only kind of pastime. Like whereas I had like drawing and doing all sorts of stuff, like being creative and being like not distracted by a phone. These kids just come straight into the generation where they just get given phones because it's a necessity, because like they might go lost, or you know, they need to contact their parents, and there's no, we like grew up on like these like just flip phones or whatever which had like games on. There's never like access to the internet and like explicit material and stuff like that. It's just like for them, they're kind of thrown into this culture, so they kind of grow up a bit too quickly, and with that comes like vanity and like at the same time insecurity as well. I think those two things go in hand.
How do you think we compare to, say, our grandparents in terms of vanity?
With vanity, it would have been people who would be like given an opportunity to be like seen. So like vanity was probably safe for like celebrities or like models or people who were like well known in their circle. But because now everyone has a platform to like be a somebody, if that makes sense. Like everyone can have like a social following of a certain amount of people who like see what you're doing. So if you have like a big reach of people, you can still be as like vain as somebody like who would have been like a movie star back in the day.
I think it is definitely an accessibility thing, because when you look at sort of going way back to when cameras and photographs were invented, it took a long time to take a picture, and so it was a lot more difficult to do. You know, that's part of the reason we have this idea of Victorians being these really stern people, because all the photographs of them, no one's smiling, but that's because photographs could take 10 minutes to take, and it's very difficult to hold a smile for 10 minutes, so it's easier to have you know, a kind of more neutral expression. People are always interested in how they look, and so photography is just kind of a new medium to do that, and it seems more on tap today, and we do take more meaningless photos of our food or whatever because it's so easy to do. You just pick up something, press a button, and it's done, but that doesn't necessarily mean that people in past generations, if they had the ability to do that, they totally would have been doing that as well.
Going through your Instagram, is there a certain picture that you pick more often, a certain picture that you like to show people more often?
Pretty much just like photography that I've taken and like my artwork and stuff that I make, and then the other stuff is like my modelling pictures and pictures of me and my friends, which is like, with posting like pictures of my work, I get to showcase that to potential like employers if they ever decided to check through my social media to see like how I conduct myself on there. And like family photos and stuff like that, but like I try and keep it as like professional as possible as well. I think like if people don't know you personally and they just check through your Instagram and like you've selected like a certain part of your life that you want them to see, they're going to know you from that. If you present yourself to be like a bit of a waste, then people are just going to perceive you like that. So I try and keep it as like PG as possible.
What would be the balance between, right, I'm going to post this picture because I think people will like it, or I'm going to post this picture because I like it and I don't care what everyone else is thinking?
It used to get to, up until recently I used to be like, I don't understand why like people don't care about stuff other than selfies on Instagram. I think it's just because it's easier to engage with something that you just see like a couple of elements in the photograph. So like if I post one of my modelling photos, it gets like 292 likes, and if I post photos of my like photography, it's like 66. So like what I enjoy posting is like stuff that I've created and like stuff that I'm really into, but I kind of like have to break it up a bit just so I can kind of maintain my reach, because I try and post like photos of stuff that can get me opportunities, but like it doesn't do as well as like a photo of me holding a watermelon, which is just like, just don't understand it. It's just such a weird dynamic, but it's just a matter of like giving the people like what they want, and then like, because that's how it works really for the most part, just like instant like swiping, mindless like swiping. So if it's something that requires you to actually stop and pay attention, you're not going to get as many people doing that.
Altogether then, vanity hasn't been entirely down to social media. Apps like Instagram have simply taken over as the medium that we use to express our vanity, our need for individuality, and for losing our sanity. These traits will always and have always existed in the human race, and will be interesting to see how they take form in the future.